afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, a strong denial from former President Rodrigo Duterte on his alleged links to the missing sabungeros case. The Senate sets August 4th to gather again as an impeachment court for the trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. In sports, it's fight week in Las Vegas. People's champ Manny Pacquiao gets ready for his comeback match against WBC welterweight king Mario Barrios. We have an update from our correspondent in Las Vegas later in the show. And in entertainment, OPM band IV of Spades returns in full force and with a new single after a 5-year break. Preposterous. That's what former President Rodrigo Duterte had to say after he was dragged into the case of the missing sabungeros. That's according to his daughter, Vice President Sara Duterte. Speaking from The Hague, where her father is detained, VP Sara says FPRRD found these latest claims absurd.
Pinalitaan ko siya about sa mga missing sabungeros case. And then ang sabi niya, and then sinabihan ko siya na there is an attempt to link him to the missing sabungeros case. So sabi niya that is preposterous. Yes. That is preposterous.
Cockfighters vanished in 2021 during Duterte's term, and some believe the disappearances are tied to his controversial war on drugs. The Justice Department confirms 3 bodies buried in Batangas may offer new leads in the missing sabungeros case. They were unclaimed and buried in 2020, allegedly by police, raising more questions about links between drug war killings and the group behind the multiple disappearances. Joash Malimban reports.
Authorities have exhumed 3 bodies in Batangas that may be linked to the missing sabungeros case. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla confirmed that the bodies buried in 2020 were possibly tagged as drug war victims and were left unclaimed in a funeral parlor. Police officers reportedly handled their burial.
There were some victims found in 2020 that were just buried by the police because nobody claimed them in the Purinaria. We are exhuming them now as we speak because we have to find out who these people are. They were never claimed. But we are setting up the DNA bank that we need to set up because precisely of those people who are missing. Yung mga disappearances ng mga tao, dapat yan, masolve yan eh.
Remulla said that they have yet to establish a solid link between the drug war killings and the missing cockfight enthusiasts, but noted several intersections, particularly involving enforced disappearances carried out by the same group of individuals. Among those being looked into are police officers already under restrictive custody of the PNP. One of the new potential witnesses is Calamba City Councilor Arvin Manguiat, who claimed that the police officers linked to the missing sabungeros were the same individuals who tried to kill him in 2021.
Nagulat na lang ako nung tanongin niya ako kung may suspect na raw ba ako dun sa mga umambo sa akin. Sabi ko meron. Sabi ko nga mga pulis. Sabi ko oo, mga pulis. Sabi niya, alam mo ba kung sino mastermind? Sabi ko, yun ang hindi ko alam. Yun, sinabi niya sa akin na si Boss AA daw ang nagpaambo sa akin. So nagulat ako. Sabi ko sa kanya, sigurado ka pare, anong kasalanan ko?
Manguiat said he only made the connection after speaking with whistleblower Dondon Patidongan, who earlier filed a complaint affidavit against several PNP officers. Patidongan also recently named attorney Caroline Cruz, legal counsel of gambling tycoon Atong Ang and executive director of the Pitmaster Foundation, as one of the alleged members of the Alpha Group. He claimed that Cruz drafted his recantation statement after he was offered 300 million pesos to stay silent and leave the country. Cruz denied the allegations, describing them as scripted and the complete opposite of what really took place. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla, who also chairs NAPOLCOM, said no one will be spared in the investigation, including elected officials.
Kahit mayor, kahit governor, kahit senator, basta kasama sila doon sa alpha group na yan, anyone involved in the alpha group will be charged kung tama ang case builder.
Meanwhile, the DOJ is in talks with the Japanese embassy for possible assistance in the recovery and identification of remains believed to be linked to the case. Joash Malimban, Billionaire News Channel.
A thorough search in Tal Lake was launched 4 years after the sabungeros were first reported missing. Whistleblower Julie Dondon Patidongan claimed that their bodies were dumped in the lake and tagged gaming tycoon Atong Ang as the mastermind behind the killings. Francis Falve tells us out of nearly 100 bones examined by the PNP forensic group, one is possibly a hip bone.
A possible human hip bone is among the bones recovered from Tal Lake. It is believed to be part of 6 possible human skeletons from the 91 bones currently undergoing forensic examination by the PNP. Collecting DNA samples have been challenging because the bones have long been submerged in water and are no longer in pristine condition.
Umasa naman po kami sa galing at talino at sensya ng PNP Forensic Group. Kasi karamihan po na nandito sa PNP Forensic Group ay trained, dalubhasa po sa medisina, science at sa mga iba't ibang larangan ng examinations, especially po sa DNA examination.
DNA samples have already been collected from 18 relatives of the missing cockfighters, which will be used for cross-matching.
Ang priority po namin ngayon is maka-generate muna ng DNA profile doon sa mga collected po. Kasi po, it would be quite useless kung ipaprocess namin yun sa families pero wala namang kaming pang-match. So sa amin po, ang priority muna, maka-generate kami ng DNA muna doon sa mga specimen na pinasa sa amin.
NAPOLCOM has issued summons against the police officers implicated by Julie Dondon Patidongan in the issue. They were given 5 days to respond. Francis Polbe, Billionaire News Channel.
Vice President Sara Duterte be dismissed.
On to the long-delayed impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Senator Joel Villanueva says the Senate is looking at August 4 to reconvene as an impeachment court. That's just a week after President Bongbong Marcos delivers his 4th State of the Nation address. Villanueva says only a few senators, including Senate President Cheese Escudero, have had informal talks so far. They still need to finalize committee chairmanships and members before anything official happens. The Office of the Vice President is seeking to make travel more bearable for commuters through its Libreng Sakay program. Our John Manalo joins us live from the EDSA Guadalupe busway in Makati. John, tell us more about this.
The Office of the Vice President has recommended to the Department of Transportation that they be allowed to extend the operating hours of their Libreng Sakay program to accommodate more commuters. This was confirmed to us by OVP spokesperson Ruth Castelo in an ambush interview earlier following a bus tour of the program. Currently, the OVP's Libreng Sakay operates in Metro Manila, Naik, Cavite, Cebu, Bacolod, Davao, and Tacloban. Castelo says the OVP is operating 9 buses nationwide, 2 of which were purchased by the OVP, while 7 were borrowed from a bus owner or contractor. These will be returned at the end of Vice President Sara Duterte's term in 2028. In Metro Manila alone, 4 buses are deployed, operating from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and again from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., strategically scheduled to align with peak traffic hours. However, the OVP is now proposing to extend these hours from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. and from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. to better serve students and employees.
Mag-submit kami lang ng mga more justifications para pa-approve natin sa kanila. But they're also doing their own study. Kung feasible yung magdagdag pa tayo ng oras, magiging 6 hours. Kaya lang kung nakita nyo, kung magiging 4 to 10, that's 6 hours. Pero yung nakita nyo kasi sa PITX kanina, kailangan natin aralin kung kailangan pang magdagdag or anong lugar yung kailangan na dagdagan.
Yeah, pero for that report, Joan Manalo reporting to us live from the EDSA Guadalupe Busway in Makati. The Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Center of the DICT has been cracking down on illegal online gambling sites this past week. This includes social media influencers that promote them. In an interview on BNC's Agenda, CICC Deputy Executive Director Renato Paraiso explained the scale of the promoting operations.
I think that the smallest or parang yung pinaka-konting followers do sa 20 na yun is like 2 million pa rin. And then we also have a matrix na makikita rin namin yung reach, hindi lang yung following kasi yung iba kasi manufactured yung following eh. Nakikita rin namin, halimbawa nagla-live, mas marami yung, halimbawa konti nga yung following niya pero mas marami yung nanonood sa kanya sa live. So we have a matrix for that also. So we really know kung sino yung mga malalakas talaga. Unang-una siguro, hindi pa nila alam na may vina-violate sila. I'd like to presume that. Second is malaki talaga yung compensation sa kanila. I've heard it's 500,000 per week pag medyo okay ka na, yung medyo malaki yung following. Kung nalaman nila na meron ganyan, yung iba sa kanila nagkusa tumigil. Pero I think also parang naging seryoso yung or parang they took us seriously when we issued that ultimatum na parang government would do something about it, and we're not just sitting down and taking this na parang you're promoting something illegal that ruins yung moral fabric ng bansa natin.
A historic step toward justice. That's how U.S. President Donald Trump describes his signing of the Halt Fentanyl Act. Families who lost loved ones to fentanyl overdoses were present at the ceremony where Trump pledged to liberate America from what he called a deadly drug scourge.
Today we strike a righteous blow to the drug dealers, narcotic traffickers, and criminal cartels that we've all been hearing so much about for so many years, and very little has been done. And we take a historic step toward justice for every family touched by the fentanyl scourge.
Trump has imposed a 20% tariff on China, which he blames for much of the fentanyl entering the United States.
I think we're going to work it out so that China is going to end up going from that to giving the death penalty to the people that create this fentanyl and send it into our country.
A record sale at Sotheby's in New York. A 54-pound Martian meteorite fetching $5.3 million. The specimen, the largest known piece of Mars on Earth, is now the most expensive meteorite ever auctioned. It was discovered on November 16, 2023 in Niger's remote Agadez region.
This is an amazing Martian meteorite that broke off of the Martian surface. There was some sort of massive asteroid strike, and we know there have only been 19 asteroid strikes big enough to eject a piece like this off of the surface of the planet. They didn't know it was Martian. They knew it was just a meteorite at first.
Taking a breather, up next, we're getting the latest on the much-anticipated Pacquiao-Barios match. That and more when Newsfeed at noon returns. Stay tuned. In sports, it's Fight Week in Las Vegas. People's champ Manny Pacquiao and WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios prepared to lay the smackdown this weekend in Sin City. Our America correspondent Steve Angeles joins us on the phone from Las Vegas. Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining us today. Everyone's excited, of course, about fight night. So what is the mood like over there?
Yes, Mai. After 4 years, Manny Pacquiao fever is back in Las Vegas because in 4 days, the 46-year-old Pacquiao, known as the People's Champ, will be back in the ring chasing history against the WBC welterweight champion Mexican-American Mario Barrios. The Pac-Man and El Azteca faced off on Wednesday afternoon Las Vegas time for their pre-fight press conference. For Pacquiao, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame last month, he believes this return to the ring will serve as an inspiration. While Barios, who has a 29-win, 2-loss, and 1-draw record, has plenty of praises for Philippine fans.
I've been a challenger for many times, and the same feeling, like I'm excited, excitement that to get the belt, to win the fight. I know Barios he's a champion. He's a good fighter also. But on Saturday night, our job is to give enjoyment and satisfaction to the fans. You know, entertain the fans, like a real fight, not fight like boring fight. I always leave it to God. What's His plan for my life? Because what I'm doing right now, I want to help people. I want to inspire people and make a legacy that can we leave behind. Behind that legacy that can inspire the other generation, the next generation.
I've met a lot of Filipino fans. Every interaction I've had, they've been very high energy, but very, very respectful. And I plan on taking a trip to the Philippines after this fight.
But this fight has sparked talk that depending on the outcome of this fight, a potential rematch against Floyd Mayweather could happen. However, the Pac-Man told reporters at the press con that he is only thinking of this weekend's fight and he is 100% focused on Barrios mentally and physically. Mai?
So Manny's faced the best of the best. We all know that. It's with Mexican icons Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and Marco Antonio Barrera. Now, he's up against this younger and much hungrier Mario Barrios. How does Barrios measure up to the people's champ? And also, the other way around, how does the Pac-Man preparing for this fight?
This is an interesting fight. He's not only fighting another Mexican, actually a Mexican-American. He grew up here, kind of like, if we remember, Brandon Rios. Barrios, look at the picture. He is 6 feet flat. He's probably one of the tallest opponents that the Pac-Man will be facing. So he definitely has that long reach advantage. And Mario Barrios is one of those action-packed fighters. He loves to come forward. He loves to engage. This will really test how Manny's conditioning is. At 46 years old, do you still want to engage a guy that will throw hundreds of punches per round? So this should be fun. And we've seen Barrios actually on Pacquiao undercards before. And so we know he's a warrior. I remember he fought on the Keith Thurman undercard. And then 3 weeks later, he didn't care. He fought Tank Davis. And, he lost to Tank Davis, but that showed a lot of heart, a lot of determination. So Barrios, he is a tough kid, and he might be, and also given Manny's advanced age, he might actually be a tough out for the Pac-Man. We'll all see on Saturday.
And also Pacquiao did say he doesn't want to give fans a boring fight, right? So, and also you brought up Floyd Mayweather Jr., and we all remember how long it took for that mega fight in 2015 to finally happen. And since then, Manny and Floyd have exchanged pleasantries here and there, but do you think a real Mayweather-Pacquiao Part 2 is in the cards?
I remember I was here for Part 1, and we were talking about Part 2 pretty much the moment after Part 1 ended, and that's 8 years ago now. So they like to hint about it. They like to talk about it. There's a lot of talk that, boxing is at a crossroads right now. They've turned to, non-traditional avenues. They've gone through a lot of changes also. So it might actually rejuvenate the sport in a way. As we know, Floyd is also a very competitive man. There's that big upcoming Canelo Alvarez-Bud Crawford fight coming up. And knowing Floyd, he's always wants to set the record. So, there is the talk. It was reported by Lance Pugmire of The Athletic that, Floyd said that his people was already engaged in talks with Manny's people. They will be going for the record if they do this. But we'll see. A lot of it, Manny was right when he said that he just wants to focus on this weekend. You've been off for 4 years. You're 46 years old. And if this happened, Floyd is a couple of years older than Manny, I believe. You're going to have two late 40s guys fighting. And, it would probably still bring a lot of money. We saw Mike Tyson come back not too long ago. So, and there would be that interest just because we've been talking about it for so long now, right?
All right. So, Steve, very quickly, time for a fearless forecast. Are we going the distance, or will it be a knockout? And if so, what round are you calling it? And how are the experts calling it?
It looks like the experts, the sports books actually has it in favor for Barrios right now. And I believe that's, that's just based on the youth and the activity. We haven't seen Manny fight for reals. I mean, he did those exhibition matches a couple of years back, but we haven't seen him fight a real fight. Really, you could argue since Keith Thurman. The Ugas fight was very weird because he was not preparing for Ugas, and that also was one of the first post-COVID mega fights. So when you think about it, it's been 6 years since Manny was really in this high-level, super competitive type of fight, but Manny is a freak of nature. I believe just because of the size, the youth, we'll probably go the distance because they like to engage. We'll probably see someone get knocked down here and there, and it will be very close on the judges' scorecards. I always want to push for Manny, but
I guess
you never know.
Yes, we just have to see.
Especially if you're betting for him. He's the underdog this time.
Yeah, we have to see on fight night, I guess, and we wonder what Pacquiao has up his sleeve. Meantime, thank you so much for joining us, America correspondent Steve Angeles. Now for entertainment news, IV of Spades makes a surprise return with their new single, Aura. The beloved OPM band, together with vocalist Unique Salonga, makes their comeback after a 5-year hiatus. Unique left the band in 2018 to go solo, and the remaining members of the band announced a break back in 2020 to pursue their solo careers and projects. Their reunion post on Facebook went viral with over 703,000 reactions and counting. Those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay with the Billionaire News Channel. Good afternoon.